So real quick update on Coach Reid, everybody. First, I would say I really appreciate the beat and how you guys all handled last night and today. Thank you for your professionalism and your humanity. Truly, I really appreciate that. But there is a great update to be shared. So Coach Reid has been released. He is in great spirits, doing well. You guys know him almost as good as me. And he's chomping at the bit. He'll probably be here later today or in the morning to be back at work. And with that said, we're going to have Coach Spags and Coach Bieniemy visit with you here in a few seconds just to go over the game. So we'll do Thursday today with those guys to make sure you get some game content, and then we'll move forward with the rest of the week. With regards to injuries from the game, Rick said that he didn't have any new news for me to share with you guys at this point. But if anything becomes significant, we'll make sure we get it to you. So we'll get Coach Spags and Coach Bieniemy with you. And again, I'll finish where I started. Really appreciate how you guys handled the last 24 hours.
Listen, first and foremost, just most important thing here is Coach Reid. So we're glad he's feeling better. So I would just open up with that statement. And then just turning defensively, I've got a couple things I jotted down that I'd share with you first, and then I'll open it up and let you guys fire away. But I'm going to give a little credit to the Chargers offense. I thought they did a really good job. That quarterback's a good football player. From our end, I spoke to the staff this morning. I thought we had some positives, one of them being the way we started the game, the mindset we had. We had those first two drives where we stopped. I thought that was really good. We tackled much better than we had in the previous two. That's encouraging. Our first and second down run defense was 3.5 per rush. That's encouraging. That's good. Our third down was much better. I'm not including the fourth down when I say that now. That was right at our goal of 36%. And I thought we showed a lot of grit. Second to the last drive when we held them to a field goal with backs against the wall and at the 1 yard line. Having said that, where we failed or thought we could have done better to help our team win was we did not create a turnover. And we know how hard that is in this league. If our offense has a rough day, we need to offset that by getting some turnovers. The explosive passes really did hurt us, most notably the one for 42 yards there on that last drive. We needed 2 red zone stops that we didn't get. We did have one, but we needed 2 more, I thought. And I thought what killed us in some of the red zone stuff was second and long. We had a second and 12 and second and 10 that they were successful on. And then obviously not closing the game out, giving up 10 points in the fourth quarter is not what we want to be. So I figured I'd start there. I'll let you guys all fire away. I'll just open it up.
Let's go first to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Steve. I wanted to ask you, you mentioned the red zone stuff. I wanted to ask you specifically about the first 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
The guys were just, actually the first 3, maybe. The guys were just wide open. Anthony Hitchens talked a little after the game about, maybe some late substitutions, and he didn't feel like you guys had enough time to answer. What did you see there as the issue on those plays? Yeah,
the one, they all run together on me a little bit, Sam, but there was one, they got down there, they up-tempoed. I tried to get a call to Hitch. I think I probably should have made it an easier call, is what I would say. He did the best he could as fast as they were going to get everybody lined up, and we weren't, and then they threw a quick one. So that's one that you're talking about. I think there was another one where we brought a pressure. It didn't get executed exactly right. That's when number 30 caught it. And he looked wide open. There was a change in coverage, rotation, actually. There was too many mistakes there pre-snap that hurt us. And then what other one would you be talking about? Because one was a past 81, or 2 of them were past 81, right? Yeah, those must be the 2 you're talking about then.
It
right?
was,
the quick snap one, and the one
last one looked like Williams beat Baker on the last one. The third one, it looked like Williams just beat Baker on an inside move, but coming back to the outside. But yeah, it was mostly the first.
I think one of the first 2, the one where that was a second and 12 that I was talking about, where they got it to number 30, leaking through the inside. Had we executed the call properly, I'm quite certain 30 would have blocked and would have stayed in and would not have come out. So it was a little just lack of execution on that particular play.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about teams going forward on fourth down against you. You've seen that a lot in some non-traditional settings of places this year. Is there sort of a mentality that goes into that on fourth down? I mean, normally you do your job on first, second, and third down, and you're off the field either for a field goal or a punt. But this time you're having to stay on the field. I mean, is that something you guys have to work on to kind of get into that to make that thing work?
Yeah, we have, Adam, quite honestly. Like, we'll get periods in practice where coach might give us 8 plays or 10 plays. I don't recall, we didn't do it as much last week. Against Baltimore, the week of practice, on the final play of each period, Adam, we put in a fourth down play for exactly what you're talking about. So we could practice, so the mindset could be right. Going into last week, we really didn't have any data on Brandon Stanley in terms of, does this team go for it on fourth? 4th and 2 at the plus, do they typically go? So we talked about it. We thought maybe they would be aggressive. That was the comment we made. But if I'm being honest with you, Adam, I don't believe we tagged on any fourth down plays at the end of practice. And maybe we should do that every week, because it feels like, the league is swinging that way, right? Where coaches are deciding to go for it on fourth down. But, I would say this, a fourth down play to us isn't that much different than a third down play. I mean, look at third down, you stop them, you can get off the field. When it goes to fourth down, that's like a turnover for us. We should be hungry to get a turnover, because if we stop them on that. And I thought, was it just that it was that 4th and 9, correct? Was that the only one? I think that was the only one they had. We've had a previous, and unfortunately we called for a penalty, and otherwise that would have been a tremendous stop, and everybody would have been fired up. Patrick would have had the ball in really good position, but it didn't happen. So hopefully going forward we can make those.
Go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Steve, you'd mentioned some pluses and minuses coming out of this game. Casting a wide net here, how close do you feel like this defense is where it needs to be?
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? It's funny. Sometimes I feel like we're quite a ways away. But I will say this: like when I talk with the guys tomorrow, I'm going to tell them that there was a lot of good snaps in there. Like there was a lot of good football played. But in this league, against a really good team, in a close game, maybe when your offense is, struggling a little bit, it's 3-4, it might be 3 plays that makes the difference. The one that sticks out in my mind is the 42-yard, completion, that explosive pass play. We didn't survive that. But I agree with what you're saying. We're right on the verge of things, but we need to get there. It's got to be consistency. And when our organization, our team needs us to, hold them to 14 or hold them to 17, we need to be able to do that. I know the guys feel the same way.
Let's go next to Sarin Petro. Go ahead, Sarin.
Thanks, Brad. And I'll have a follow-up as well. Coach, can you just tell us what happened on the 2-point conversion? It seemed like the receiver was uncovered at first and there was some miscommunication. What all was going on there?
Yeah, it wasn't. I'm going to be honest with you. We had trouble based on the way they substituted with trying to get our personnel out to match it. Now, my understanding was that the officials, when they substitute, are supposed to give us a chance to do that. I didn't feel like that happened. And that's why I had a conversation with Sean after. Short of that, when we obviously didn't have the right personnel because we thought they were in one thing and they weren't. So it made it challenging for the guys to get lined up. Somehow, some way, I guess we got to find out a way to do it, and we'll practice it. But that was a tough down for us, just by the way it came out.
And then, Coach, I recognize there's a lot more going on for you than, me and my bag of Doritos sitting there watching the game on TV and everything, for all the different calls and your heads in the play sheet and everything that's going on. But I'm curious, was there any conversation, and we've seen it happen a couple of times, where about letting the Chargers score and letting, like, particularly Williams caught that ball, I think it was like 36 seconds at the 4, and he got forced out. I know they scored on the next play. So I'm not really trying to rework this and say, hey, you could have wedged 8 more seconds in here. I'm just wondering what the mindset is and how much time's going on between you and Coach Reid and all your assistants, and does the subject come up when you're trying to, fire up those blitzes and everything to go, all right, guys, at what point do we say, Just let him in and let's give Pat a chance to.
Well,
go back and
the
better
point that came up in this game was when they got down to the 3, and then they did score on the very next play. And probably and Coach Reid was talking to me about that. And probably had they run it, they probably would have scored then too. It's probably the best way for me to answer that without getting in too deep. Coach Reid was all over it, but it really wasn't until they got down inside the 5-yard line.
Go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Steve. I recognize you've been missing Frank Clark, but I'm wondering if you can kind of assess the defensive line and particularly the production you've gotten from your pass rush.
Yeah, as a whole, it's come in spurts. Maybe it's been a little bit inconsistent, but I tell you what, I thought Mike Dana did a great job yesterday. The sack he had was just a relentless sack. We had some other ones, but we were right there. I know Chris pushed the tackle into the quarterback one time. There's other ones that stick out a little bit where we're just there. We're just missing a little bit, and part of that comes back to, I'm not sure we've had enough of those downs and distances. We had more yesterday with the third downs where we could actually, pin our ears back and come after the quarterback. And I really felt early we did a good job of it. I mean, let's not forget when Chris draws a holding penalty, that's almost as effective as, getting to, I think when Herbert scrambled that one time, there was a holding penalty there. Now we ended up declining it because it brought it to 4th down. But I think our guys would tell you that they would like to be doing better. I know Coach Daly feels the same way. We're hoping that ramps up. But the guys in there are battling. I see some good things. Alex Okafor, there's some of them are sticking out in my mind. He had a really good pass rush on the left side. But this quarterback did have he got the ball. He got rid of the ball. He's big. He stands in there big. And so I'll give a little bit of credit to the quarterback here in this particular case.
We've got time for 2 more. We'll go Robert and then Adam. Go ahead, Robert.
Hey, Coach. So I believe it was the second to last drive the Chargers had. You were actually able to hold them into the field goal once they got into the red zone. What are some good things you saw from that drive as opposed to pretty much every time else in the red zone this season?
Yeah, I'm hoping that that's a trend there. I thought it was really gritty. I mean, we get the penalty on LJ and it goes down to the 1. Now they helped us a little bit, obviously, by getting a penalty and getting backed up. But the very first play, we keep them out of the end zone. I mean, that's encouraging. And then they go offside and they get backed up. And then we have 2 snaps there where we play really good coverage and get to the quarterback enough. One of them, I know Herbert had to throw it away, right? So there was pressure there from Mike Dana, I think, and the back end did a great job covering. And then we stop him again, get another incomplete pass and hold him to a field goal. So that really was encouraging. Our guys should feel really good about that. I'm just disappointed we let him get down. And again, it goes back to that one really big explosive pass play.
And we'll go last to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Steve, wanted to ask you about Chris Jones. Any thought about moving him maybe back to his former position full time, given maybe that Mike Dana's playing well and maybe Frank Clark's coming back sometime soon?
We've had, listen, we've got 4 guys in there that have been battling. I think if you go that route, Adam, I think it's really more just to kind of change it up pass rush wise for Chris. 2 weeks ago, Baltimore chipped them on 1st and 2nd down out there. So it made it tough. Yeah, we've talked about it. We'll see where we go with it. We get them in there on 3rd down. You guys see that. We'll just see how games go. It'd be nice to get them in the 2nd and 15 and then put a dime defense. Adam, to be honest with you, we did do that yesterday. You might not have caught it, but there were in the second half, we went in at halftime and talked about getting to dime on 2nd and long for that reason. And they ran the ball one time and we did it. And then I can't remember exactly what happened on the other one, but you're kind of on track. We'll just see how each game goes and whether we're able to do it or not.
All right, fire away.
All right. We'll start first with Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Good, GB. Just a question on that final Patrick Mahomes pass that was intercepted and intended for Travis Kelce. These guys are usually trusted to improvise. How much as a coaching staff do you have to maybe go to Patrick after the game? We want you to still keep firing in those spots, or maybe it's hold it back a little bit. Just where do you guys come out on that?
Well, you always want to make sure we're doing a great job protecting the football, especially in those critical moments of the game. So one thing that we do know, we just want to be smart. On top of that, making decisive decisions that's not going to put us in a situation where it becomes detrimental. When it's all said and done with, we can take care of the ball better, a lot better. And if we're taking care of the ball better, obviously we're giving ourselves a chance to win when it's all said and done.
Let's go next to Aaron Ladd. Go ahead, Aaron.
Appreciate the time here. Two questions. First one, just about Coach Reid. Have you talked to him in the last 24 hours? We obviously got the news earlier that he'd been released from the hospital, but wondering what you had talked about.
Well, I know Ted have given you guys an update. I had a conversation with him yesterday. I'm just looking forward to him getting back into the building.
Okay, back to the football then. How do you practice, I guess, not turning the ball over? It was kind of that span there where it seemed like there was butter over the ball, I guess, for lack of a better term. How do you go in and day out inside the facility and get better at that specific aspect?
Well, we work on protecting the ball every single day. That's one thing we take a tremendous amount of pride in. But when it's all said and done, we don't want our players going out there playing afraid of turning over the ball. We just need to make sure that we're focused in those intense moments where we don't lose sight of ball security. We got to make sure we got the ball. We got two hands on it in traffic, two hands on it on the way down. On top of that, in certain situations, we want to make sure we're securing the catch. We never just want to throw an errant throw to put ourselves in a predicament where that team has an opportunity to put hands on the ball. So those things are important. The good thing is that we're giving ourselves a chance to still be in play when the game is on the line. And if we eliminate just those mistakes, we will be sitting in a different position. But we are who we are right now because of the turnovers. We're 1-2 team. And so we have to correct everything, make sure that we're getting back on track and getting this thing going in the right direction moving forward.
Go next to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach, along those same lines, that's kind of like, because turnovers are the theme of the past 2 weeks, 6 in the last 6 quarters. What is your alarm level like, that the sense of urgency that you got to work on securing the football going forward?
Here's the thing, Herbie. We're going to rely upon our leaders. We got good leaders in our locker room. We got great coaches on this staff. Our guys will make sure that these guys are taking care of the little things. If we take care of the little things, guess what? The process will take care of itself. And more than anything, just like I explained to our guys, we have to respect the process. What does that mean? That means respecting the little things. It's never about the big things. It's always the little things that put you in these situations. So one thing we're going to count on is that our leadership is going to provide the correct amount of examples on how we do it and what should be done. So we're going to count on Pat to make sure he's doing his part. Travis, the Tyreeks of the world. On top of that, we're going to count on the guys in the backfield to make sure they're doing it the right way. And we'll fix it. It's all being addressed, but those guys need to act upon it. And now we need to make sure we're putting that out on display on game day.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Eric, I wanted to ask you about Tyreek. He got 6 touches, I believe, yesterday. Was there anything that the Chargers did that was slightly different from what the Ravens had shown you to prevent some of those abilities for Tyreek to get the ball? And do you feel a sense that you guys have to increase in terms of finding ways to get him the ball that can get you guys down the field?
Well, you always want to make sure that you're giving your playmakers an opportunity to come up big. Obviously, they did a few things. Sometimes we just didn't have the opportunity to give it to them just because of the structure of what they were doing. But one thing that we know, Tyreek is a dynamic football player. We're going to continue to make sure that we're putting him in the situations where he can make the plays. But on top of that, big picture is, at the end of the day, we want to win the game. All right. So whatever we need to do to get it done, we need to make sure that we're putting our players in position to getting that done.
We'll take 4 more, going right down the line, starting with Darren. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, Coach, thank you for this, for speaking with us today. A couple of questions. Is it safe to say that the league has caught up with the Kansas City Chiefs offense and Patrick Mahomes in general? And then secondly, look, the offensive line yesterday, you all put up 186 yards on the ground. Was that more of a concerted effort, or was it more so what the defense showed you all?
My bad for laughing at your first question, bro. I don't think anybody has caught up with us because obviously we're putting the numbers up. I thought our guys played hard. I thought they went out there and did enough, to put us in position to be playing to win the game at the end of it. And so I think our guys are maximizing the opportunities that are being presented. Now, one thing that we have to focus on is focus on making sure that we're negating all the little things that's keeping us from being the team that we need to be. And we all know there's no hidden agenda when talking about that. It's the turnovers. If we don't turn over the football, we're sitting in a different predicament. So one thing that we have to address is making sure that we're focused on the details. The details means what? Ball security. We secure the ball. That stat stands true throughout the entire league. If you protect the ball, your chances of winning go up out the roof. And so if we're doing that, everything else takes care of itself. Another thing, I think our guys are playing with tremendous effort. They're playing with tremendous energy. They fight, so we're excited about those little things. And because of your first question, I actually forgot what your second question was. So please reiterate that one to me.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was asking about you all rushed for 186 yards yesterday. Was that more of a concerted effort after, what we talked about last week with the time of possession and stuff like that, or was it just more so what you all were seeing defensively from the Chargers?
Well, I thought our O-line did a heck of a job of coming off the ball. Our O-line group is growing together collectively each and every week. I thought the runner did a hell of a job. It was just one of those deals that we got our run game going. And those guys did a great job of establishing that from play one. And so those guys did a great job. We will continue to build off of that. But when it's all said and done, I will say this again. It's not about the stats. It's not about those numbers. Okay. As you guys have figured out, that turnover margin means a lot. That third down number means a lot as well. And if we're taking care of the football, we will put ourselves in situations to whereas we will give ourselves a chance to win. So yes, we did a great job of running the football, but it didn't do anything for us in the end of the game. So we just need to make sure that we're doing all the little things that are required to help us to achieve the goal, and that's to win.
Next is Seren Petro. Go ahead, Seren.
And Brad, I'll have a follow-up to this. Coach, first of all, I'm just curious. I know you're not calling the defensive side of the equation, right? But when it gets to third down, I know your guys are getting ready to go back out there on the field, and the Chargers 3 times went for it on fourth down. I'm just curious, does that change your mindset? Do you guys start talking about, okay, this is what they're going to be today? It looks like they're going to be aggressive and try to not play the traditional 3-down football and punt. Was there any discussion about maybe changing how you guys went about attacking back, knowing that they were looking like they were going to be aggressive like that?
No, we knew exactly what they were going to do. We knew exactly how their thought process was. Our process never changes. We're always thinking ahead on when those situations present itself, or hey, if we're in a certain area of the field, hey, coach, you know what? This is a potential 4-down moment. So those things are always discussed, not just leading up to the game, but also discussed on game day. But it didn't change anything in what we were doing on yesterday. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
And then the follow-up would be, you said that, we talk about, hey, this is a 4th down moment. And I think the numbers are that Coach Reid has been one of the more aggressive guys, right, at going for it on 4th down relative to what everybody else does in the NFL. But that seems to be moving pretty quickly, especially this year, teams going for it more and more. Are you guys talking about it? And does it change your philosophy if you know that they're going to try to steal those possessions when they go for it on 4th and 4s and 4th and 9s? The way I know that, and this is a theoretical one. This isn't anything about the game because I know you only had 2 4th downs because of the turnovers, right? And they were 4th and 9 and 4th and 14. So this is just theoretical. Does it kind of change your mindset and how you guys look at that?
No, it doesn't. There's always a game plan that's set. Obviously, our guy, analyst Mike Frazier, does a great job of communicating with myself, communicating with coach. So we discussed that thought process strategically throughout the entire week. And then on game day, there's always a conversation taking place. Hey, coach, we get in this particular area. All right, you might want to think about a 4th down call here. So our philosophy doesn't change based upon what a team is doing. We just need to make sure if we're putting those predicaments, if this is what we said that we're going to do, let's go out and do it. But if we're not put in that situation, hey, there's really no need to discuss it.
Last two, Adam and then Sam. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Eric, how you doing?
Doing good, Adam. How you doing?
Good, good. Hey, more fourth down questions. How much time do you guys spend with Mike Frazier during the week talking about what you just said about maybe some fourth down possibilities? And do you generally go into a game thinking, well, depending on situations, this might be a game where we're going to try to be a little more aggressive like that? And Brad, I'll have a second question as well.
That's the discussion each and every week. There's always a discussion of, you know, if a certain situation presents itself, is this a fourth down call where we're saying, hey, we're going for it in this particular situation? Yes, there is. There's always that discussion. Then there's always a discussion with the quarterbacks on exactly what are some of those things or those particular plays that we would like to call. So there's a well-sketched discussion and plan that is in place. But when it's all said and done, we need to make sure that those plans come to fruition. And when they do, now we're ready to act upon them.
Do you guys in the game plan every week have a stash of plays specifically for fourth down? Or do you just pull out of your third down stash?
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to leave that between us here, but there is a quote unquote certain group of plays that we like in certain situations when those particular moments present itself.
And we'll go last to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Eric, obviously it's not very usual for you guys to lose back-to-back games. It's been a couple of years. Do you take this week and approach it like you approach most weeks, and therefore not try and have any cause for alarm, or do you have extra conversations about trying to get back on track because it is unusual for you guys?
First of all, let me just say this, okay? We're a 1-2 team, and that's who we are, okay? One thing we're going to rely upon, you heard me say this earlier, we're going to rely upon our leadership. We got great leaders in our locker room, okay? We got great leaders on the staff. Obviously, our head coach being one of the best, all right? So we're going to rely upon our leadership in making sure that our guys have no pause for concern. Yes, we are 1-2. Yes, we are. You know what? But we're going to go back to work. And we're going to go back to work and work on the basic fundamentals of what makes us special. And some of those things are just making sure that we can secure the football. Offensively, we got to respect the process. We got to make sure that we have a sense of urgency and a sense of purpose in everything that we do. And then on top of that, we have to focus on the little minute things. Yes, we are doing some good things on offense, but it's the little things that we need to make sure that are not just being swept underneath the rug. So no, there is no need to be concerned or turn on the fire hydrant and get go into a panic. No, we just need to line up, be ourselves, go out there, hey, play with some poise, have some fun, and let our personality show. But doing that, we need to make sure that we're taking care of the football. And if we can do that, guess what? We'll give ourselves a chance to win a lot of ball games this year.